not every enemy comes in the form of a stranger. Sometimes, the biggest dangers to your faith, your peace, and your connection with Allah come from the people closest to you. The friend who encourages you to sin, the family member who mocks your deen, the people who disguise their jealousy as advice. And the worst part, you might not even notice it until it's too late. Allah warns us in the Quran, "O you who have believed, do not take as intimates those other than yourselves, for they will not spare you any ruin. They wish you harm. Their hatred has already become apparent from their mouths, and what their hearts conceal is greater." That means not everyone around you wishes you well. Some people are being used by Shaytan to lead you away from the right path, sometimes without even realizing it. So, in this video, we'll uncover 5 dangerous signs that someone close to you is being influenced by dark forces. Because the truth is, not every friend is a friend, and not every family member is good for your soul. Sign 1. They take you further from Allah, not closer. One of the most dangerous signs that someone isn't good for your soul. They make your connection with Allah weaker, not stronger. At first, it's subtle. You start missing salah when you're with them. You become less mindful of your words and actions. Your sense of guilt about sins slowly fades away. Then, over time, you realize your heart doesn't feel as connected to Allah as it once did. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, said, "A person is upon the religion of his close friend, so let each of you look at whom he befriends." That means whoever you surround yourself with will influence your faith. If they are careless about their deen, you will start becoming careless too. And the scariest part? Most people don't realize when it's happening. They think they're just enjoying life. They tell themselves they'll fix their faith later. They assume a little distance from Islam won't hurt them. But Shaytan works in small steps. He doesn't make you abandon your faith overnight. He makes you drift away slowly without even noticing. Allah warns us in the Quran, "And do not follow the footsteps of Shaytan. Indeed, he is to you a clear enemy." That means Shaytan doesn't push you all at once. He takes you step by step. So if someone in your life is pulling you away from salah, making you indulge in haram, or filling your heart with distractions, be careful. Because on the day of judgment, those same people will regret misleading you, but by then it will be too late. Allah describes their regret in the Quran, "Oh, how I wish I hadn't taken that one as a close friend." That means if someone is leading you away from Allah, you need to step back before it's too late, because no friendship, no relationship, no connection is worth sacrificing your hereafter. Sign 2. They manipulate you emotionally and make you doubt yourself, one of the most dangerous tactics of Shaytan. Convincing you that you're the problem when, in reality, it's the people around you. Some people use their words, their actions, and even their silence to control you emotionally. They make you feel like you're always wrong, always overreacting, and always needing to prove yourself. You start noticing patterns. Whenever you set boundaries, they make you feel guilty. When you call out their toxic behavior, they twist it around and make themselves the victim. When you try to distance yourself, they say things like, "Look how you've changed. You're not the same anymore." Slowly, you start doubting yourself. You wonder, maybe I'm being too sensitive. Maybe I'm the one causing problems. But the truth is, they are playing with your emotions to keep you under their control. Allah warns us about such people in the Quran. "And among people is he whose speech may please you in this worldly life, and he calls Allah to witness what is in his heart, yet he is the fiercest of opponents." That means not everyone who speaks sweetly to you has good intentions. Some people use kindness as a mask, but behind it they are only serving their own desires. The Prophet Muhammad said, The signs of a hypocrite are three. When he speaks, he lies. When he makes a promise, he breaks it. And when he is trusted, he betrays it. That means if someone constantly gaslights you, manipulates you, and makes you feel small, they are not someone you should keep close. Because a real friend, a real family member, a real believer will guide you with truth, not manipulate you with deception. If someone always makes you question yourself but never questions their own actions, be careful. Because true friends lift you up, not break you down. Sign 3. They enjoy spreading negativity and creating conflict. Some people walk into a room and suddenly everything feels heavier. They are the ones who always gossip, always complain, always bring up negativity, as if their entire existence revolves around creating chaos. They find joy in talking about other people's flaws. They turn small issues into major conflicts. They thrive off drama, and they pull you into it, even when you don't want to be involved. And what's worse, they disguise their negativity as honesty. I'm just keeping it real. I say things how they are. I'm only telling you this because I care. But in reality, they are poisoning your heart, without you even realizing it. Allah warns us in the Quran, and do not obey every worthless habitual swearer, one who is a slanderer, going about with malicious gossip. That means people who constantly spread negativity are not just harming others, they are harming themselves and everyone around them. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "The worst among people is the one who carries gossip, spreading conflict between loved ones." That means if someone in your life is always stirring problems, backbiting, and making you see the worst in others, Shaytan is already using them as a tool. And here's the scariest part. Even if you're just listening, you're still part of the sin. The Prophet said, "Backbiting is worse than zina, fornication, for a person may repent, and Allah may forgive, but Allah will not forgive until the person who was backbitten forgives him." That means, if you allow these people to stay in your life, their poison will eventually affect you. So if you notice someone always spreading negativity, protect your peace and walk away, because no good comes from keeping close to those whose hearts are filled with darkness. Sign 4. They are never happy for your success. One of the most revealing signs of a person's true nature, how they react when something good happens to you. A true friend, a true believer, a true supporter will be happy when you succeed. But a person whose heart is filled with jealousy and envy, they can't stand to see you do better than them. When you achieve something, they downplay it. When you share good news, they respond with fake enthusiasm. When you're blessed, they try to remind you of your flaws, just to bring you back down. And sometimes they won't even hide it. You got lucky. Must be nice for you. Let's see how long it lasts. But deep inside, they are burning with jealousy. Allah warns us in the Quran, or do they envy people for what Allah has given them of His bounty? That means when someone is jealous of you, they are not just unhappy with you, they are unhappy with Allah's decision to bless you. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said, "Beware of envy, for envy consumes good deeds just as fire consumes wood." That means jealousy doesn't just harm the one who is envied, it destroys the one who carries it in their heart. And here's something even scarier. Sometimes this jealousy can turn into hidden evil, and their negative energy can actually affect your life. The Prophet said, "The evil eye is real, and if anything could overtake destiny, it would be the evil eye." That means if someone in your life constantly downplays your blessings, belittles your success, or never seems happy for you, be careful, because jealousy is not just a feeling, it's a disease of the heart, and people who carry this disease will never truly support you. So if you notice someone always competing with you, envying you, or secretly wishing for your downfall, distance yourself. Because true believers uplift each other. They don't wish harm upon one another. Sign 5. They never take responsibility for their actions. One of the most dangerous traits in a person. They never admit when they're wrong. They lie to protect their ego. They shift the blame onto others, even when they are clearly at fault. They manipulate situations so they always look innocent, while making others feel guilty. And the worst part, they never apologize. Instead of taking responsibility, they say things like, "You're too sensitive. It's not a big deal. Why are you overreacting? You always find a way to blame me." But in reality, they refuse to acknowledge their own mistakes. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, warned us about these kinds of people. He said, "The most hated person to Allah is the one who is stubborn in argument." That means when someone refuses to accept their faults, refuses to acknowledge their wrongs, and refuses to seek forgiveness, they are only harming themselves. And here's the scariest part. On the day of judgment, every injustice they refuse to admit will be exposed. Allah warns us in the Quran, "On that day, every soul will be shown what it has done of good and what it has done of evil, and it will wish there was a great distance between itself and its sins." That means no one gets away with their actions, whether they admit them or not. So if someone in your life never owns up to their mistakes, always blames others, and refuses to apologize, be careful. Because a person who never takes responsibility will never truly change. And when someone refuses to change, they become a danger to your peace, your faith, and your future. My dear brothers and sisters, the signs we discussed today are not just about others, they are also about us. It's easy to point fingers and say, "Yes, I know someone like this." But the real question is, are we guilty of any of these traits ourselves? Have we ever discouraged someone from practicing Islam? Have we ever manipulated others with our words? Have we ever spread negativity, felt jealous, or refused to take responsibility for our actions? Because the truth is, no one is perfect. We all have faults. But the best among us are those who recognize them and repent. The Prophet Muhammad said, "The best of people are those who repent the most." That means even if we've fallen into these behaviors, it's not too late to change. Allah tells us in the Quran, "Indeed, Allah loves those who repent and purify themselves." That means no matter how many mistakes we've made, as long as we turn back to Allah, His mercy is always open. So take a moment to reflect, not just on the people around you, but on yourself. Because on the day of judgment, we won't be asked about what others did. We will only be asked about our own actions. Here's a simple dua to carry with you. Ya Allah, cleanse my heart from jealousy, arrogance, and wrongdoing. Protect me from bad company, and make me among those who guide others to goodness, not harm. If this message touched your heart, comment, Ya Allah, purify my heart, below. Your words might inspire someone else to reflect and seek forgiveness. And don't forget, liking and subscribing costs nothing, but it helps us continue spreading reminders that bring us closer to Allah. May Allah protect us from harmful influences, cleanse our hearts, and keep us on the path of righteousness. Ameen. Surah Aal-e-Imran 3:118, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:168, Surah Al-Furqan 25:28, Surah Al-Baqarah 2:204, Surah Al-Qalam 68:10-11, Surah An-Nisa 4:54, Surah Aal-e-Imran 3:30.